We are definitely beyond sport right here. This is the kickoff. My name is Joe Saina.
And you're joined by Nicolette, aka the Queen of Bantam.
And the next gentleman I'm about to introduce, Sawa, Wealth Advisor at Ndovu Wealth Limited. Sawa, and also a financial advisor. Basically, umetenga kando 5 million shillings. Na ujuke utafanya 9, you're not a politician. Let's talk to him.
No, it's Bayana Sadaka.
Pole hata tithe tujaiongelea. 10% is 30% of it. In the building we have Wilson Nderitu. Wilson, karibu bana, how are you?
I'm more than gratefully happy, excited to be here. Beautiful offices.
Asante sana.
I love the theme.
You love the theme, eh?
Yes, a lot of red. Looks like Man U, Liverpool.
I like that the fact that you began with the themes of the studio, because we are going to go straight and talk to you not only about the financial side,
Correct.
but before someone knows Wilson Nderitu, who's a financial wealth advisor at Ndovu Wealth Limited.
Correct.
We want to know this other side of Wilson. When you're not telling us about how we should use our money as athletes and advising us. You know, for example, I know you're a sports lover, yeah?
Of course.
In Kenya,
All right.
which team do you support? And you can name whether it's rugby, football, you can join them in.
All right. On a local front, definitely rugby. Impala comes in check.
Neighbors and rivals at the same time.
On the international front, sadly, or interesting enough, I root for Liverpool. I know we've been on a 3 dry trough, but definitely we'll never walk alone. We are more than willing, looking forward to regroup and see how that goes.
So the person sitting on your right is your arch rival. You've seen with the jersey.
Absolutely. I know we have a game looking up after the 2-week break. Definitely, we believe at the very least we can not only salvage a point but whip Man U at Anfield at the very least.
I don't think they will, because of the fact that they are arch rivals, and they know we are adamantly trying to get Amorim fired. That's the day Liverpool will forget how to play football.
Tindio. So all these teams, so that Amorim sticks
so
to
Amorim
the
can
job.
continue staying there.
Wilson, how do you defend yourself on that?
I know we've been facing a lot of banter with our captain, a lot in the socials with him twerking and what have you. But I have faith again in the team. I believe in the very fact that we're the kings of comeback. We will regroup and we'll see how that goes.
You'll see how that goes.
Correct.
Sawa, Kenya umesema Impala. What about football?
Locally,
yes.
Once in a while, I have a good friend of mine who happens to be the manager of AFC at Don Bosco Church. So every once in a while, he gives me a few tickets and I get to patronize and watch the game.
So FC Leopards.
FC Leopards.
Wow.
Correct.
Hey, that's quite interesting. Impala, FC Leopards, Liverpool.
Very good.
That spells heritage.
Depth, culture.
Depth, culture, I like it. So some will even say old money. Because we're going to talk about
wealth
money.
advisor.
Wishing. Hope so.
Yes. So Wilson, karibu sana. And our topic today is about the financial side of management of athletes.
Correct.
Sawa.
Correct.
And there are various scenarios that I'm sure you have faced Pale Ndovu Wealth Limited. In terms of, you'd see, for example, like what happened with the Chan footballers. Yeah.
Correct.
Every week, walikuwa naangalia bank account, ting, pesa imeingia.
Absolutely.
And
Correct.
then maybe you've never received such an amount of money before, and then they start receiving that. Now, from a standpoint, even before we get into deeper conversations and into those questions, from a standpoint, just overally, umepata 1 million shillings leo, you're a player, you never received that money, next week ingine inaingia, next week inaingia. What are some of the things that trigger the players or the athletes or even an individual's mind? What happens next?
All right. Thank you so much for that question. So I would look at it in terms of pitfalls with matters money. So a couple of things come into play. One, the very fact that heavy reliance to relationships, so that's family, friends. And the thing about it, it's because you feel like you want to spread the love.
Yes.
So often than not, you would feel, all right, let's upgrade. I had this television set, perhaps why don't I get more inches for that matter? I also want to help out my old lady. I also want to help out friends. I also want to channel my investments through friends because, again, money is very interesting, relationship based. So I almost feel I have that uncle who's always told me, secure that parcel of land, Broti Maguta. I have nothing against it. But basically, you find yourself tapered towards taking financial advice more so on a social front. So some of the pitfalls that you end up finding is that passively in your mind you feel like, because this money seems to be coming through, so there's nothing wrong with actually spending a bit on account of the very fact that you still believe the endorsements, the funds will still come through. So what you find is a very fact that the spell for money is usually a bit short. On average, perhaps maybe 5 to 10 years. And if you don't commence perhaps investing at an earlier time, at a point in time that you're starting out, you find yourself short in terms of emergency, you find yourself short in terms of an injury that comes through that caps again your income. So you find yourself very exposed. Hence the reason why perhaps it is always good just to take a minute, think about it, have a plan, have a coach, a financial coach in this case, that will be able to guide you through certain avoidance in terms of pitfalls in view of realizing your objective goals. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Oh yeah, because we've seen in Kenya, when you look at the lifespan, okay, not only in Kenya, generally in sports, the lifespan of that career is very short. You're giving yourself 10 to 15 years max.
Correct.
Now recently we saw our athletes come back from Tokyo and they're also given heavy prize money, with the gold winners getting 3 million.
Correct.
And silver medalists got 2 million and bronze medalists got 1 million. This money was increased from an initial, like a bronze medalist used to get 350k.
Correct.
Gold medalists used to get 750. Silver used to get 500. So there's this quick way of, this thing has been doubled.
Correct.
In terms of prize money. So I'm excited.
Correct.
So how would you as a person who's a financial coach,
Correct.
how do you quickly tap into that market and talk to these people before they just go and remember, athletes are also, we also have this thing of age, yeah? Some
Correct.
of them are making this money, they've not even hit 25.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question. So basically what we advocate is something we call pay yourself first. In saying so, what happens is that we always, again, recommend, perhaps why don't you try and put 20 to 30% of these earnings into something called saving stroke investment. And now you can be able to stagger it in terms of various objectives. So you can say, all right, out of my 20 to 30 earnings, let me start small. Let me put something in a money market fund that will be able to meet my emergency expenses. Secondly, you can also try and target something called ETF, and I know we'll be able to get a chance to delve into all this, which you'll be able to chase certain levels of growth in terms of returns. In doing so, what you're basically doing is that you're actually putting up something called a culture of saving and or investing. Now, the 70% then can be able to be put to now life goals like, are you looking at buying a parcel of land? Are you looking at putting funds aside for purposes of education? Then definitely you must again assign something small for entertainment, kurudishia mwili shukurani, and the likes. So in essence, just to answer you, it's just an avenue of the proper budgeting for the said funds. And again, just back to the same question. The earlier then, prior to even the winnings, you have certain conversations. It goes a long way with regards to now how then you'll be able to perform, deal with the fortunes as and when they come through. Thank you.
As when they come through. I like that. Because the business, whether you're an athlete, whether you are not an athlete, you're just going by your life, is needs versus wants, Wilson. And
Correct.
Lifestyle inflation and overspending is something people don't talk about.
Correct.
Sawa.
Correct.
You remember Mike Tyson?
Very good.
Sindio, young
Absolutely.
guy, won the heavyweight championship when he was still young in the mid-80s.
Very agile. Yes.
And reportedly through his career,
Okay.
earned over $300 million.
Correct.
Sawa.
That's true.
With that, there was a pressure of living in a luxurious way. Cars, mansions, designer clothes. Sawa. Often this money, it's into the future. Sindio?
Correct.
So, from an advisor's perspective, take us through how, a player like this can get help with budget disciplines and understanding needs versus wants.
Thank you so very much. in the same breath that Tyson also had
Yes.
a coach, I also see matters money with also having a financial coach. The good thing about having a financial coach is the very fact that you can be able to sit down and unpack yourself in terms of now looking at two things. One, what are your life goals? Isn't it? Two, what are your perceived risks? What do you fear most about in terms of certain outcomes? So through these sessions, and I'm glad sitting here today as, again, a financial advisor from Ndovu. Ndovu is able to give you free financial advisory sessions
Wow.
whereby we sit down and we are alive to the very fact that there's nothing called one size fits all.
Yeah.
We do it specific to your desires, to your end game. So what we basically do is that we are able to come down, look at what you have in terms of your income flows. Secondly, we look at in terms of, because we have a wide range of products, let's call them asset classes. So depending on the risk appetite that you might have, definitely there are quite a number of classes that are very capital preservative. Capital preservative meaning they'll always keep your money and give you some marginal form of gains. And I know I'll start naming a few, like money market funds. We also have something called gold. So we have a cluster of that. We also give you a cluster of something that can grow your wealth significantly through something called ETF. ETF meaning exchange traded funds, which is basically a basket of stocks. Again, what you're calling global markets. And thirdly, we also have an opportunity whereby we'll take you through. We give you life examples. We are able to do a projection through something called creating a portfolio allocation. We give you various scenarios, and through that, we guide you through the process. We're not just selling you or giving you a product range. We're basically taking you through that product range
Right.
and walking the journey with you. So as, again, rightfully asked, picking lessons from Tyson, the narrative here is alive to the very fact that this is only for a season. So you need to, again, plant during the season when you're at your best, invest during the period that you're at your very best, so that now post your career you'll be able to reap from the same. We'll have again an opportunity whereby we'll give you based on time. We're looking at, are you looking for retirement? Are you looking for perhaps putting funds aside for purposes of children's education? Whatever the cost that is, whatever the objective that is, we'll be able to guide you through that.
Now, we've been speaking a lot about earnings and winnings and these large amounts of money that come in quickly. But then there's also this tax issue. You find sometimes an athlete is going to compete, let's say in the US.
Correct.
The earnings this athlete is getting, because they're not an American citizen already, unakatwa tax huko US.
Correct.
Ukirudi Kenya, kuna pesa bado KRA wanangoja kukukata. So it's not at yes, the prize money was $2 million. I'm coming home with $2 million.
Correct.
It's the issue of the taxation.
Sure.
So how do you advise this athlete, first of all, to to remember the taxation, because we saw it in tennis during the US Open.
Yes.
And once you've come here, let's say umemainaziwa, that $2 million has come down to like $750. So what do I do with that money? Mimi nilikuwa nishajipanga na 2M.
Jipanga na 2M. Another example, just to add on her, Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo still have cases in Spain, because Spain are saying, you know what, you've been playing defaulting tax, unaona. And now Messi, for example, has gone to the US, playing in a different tax bracket. He's still Argentinian, playing and having another tax bracket right about home. So easy examples of taxation, so mchezo.
Beautiful questions again by both panelists. Now, this is an interesting bit. Now, what we do is the very fact that perhaps I can cite examples. One, Ndovu gives you an opportunity to aggregate your gains. Perhaps looking at what we did last year. So last year we were able to close at an all-time high of about 24% return against quite a number of portfolios. So the thing is, by the very virtue of the very fact that our asset classes, save for the money market fund, do not accrue any taxes.
Okay.
So despite the very fact that you've been whipped in terms of taxes from the point of source of income, your winnings, and a bit from KRA, we're able to consolidate that we are able to get your final winnings, and through again various portfolios that we can be able to create, on average getting about 24% to the dollar. I think that's very handsome. Again, back to back, looking at what we have in terms of the current portfolios of investments in locally in Kenya. So in essence, what we're looking at is that despite the very fact that you might be suffering a bit from the taxes, we're able now to aggregate and make a bit of gains through our various portfolios that can be able to aggregate your returns. Thank you.
Right then, that is Wilson Nderitu, a financial and wealth advisor at Ndovu Wealth Limited. Our number is 0733 222 105. You're an athlete right there. You want to understand how to manage your money. Put in the questions right there on our WhatsApp line. Like I've said, 0733 222 105. Also, you can call us in 0748 999 111. And also, you can get on our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok at SportyFMKE. Drop your comment there, drop your question there, and we will ask Wilson to make sure that he covers it for you back to front.
But
when we come
your question was more specific towards somebody who's now ended their career and they've been given that cachet of funds.
Yeah, you've
So,
been injured, Wezi and the layer.
Beautiful.
I
Now,
think even in the office place that works. You can be
absolutely,
injured, yeah.
absolutely.
Uh-huh.
So now, that is a very interesting question, because what basically happens is that now we have to be alive to the very fact that one, you must continue living. You have expenses that you have to meet on a day-to-day basis.
Correct.
So what we've basically done as Ndovu is the very fact that we have something called our money market fund. The money market fund goes to lends to actually hedge your emergency expenses. So what would basically do is that a specific proportion of that fund will actually put it in money market fund. The good thing about it is that you are actually drawing earnings on a day-to-day basis. Within a turnaround of about 48 hours or less, you can be able to make part of the drawings from that money market fund.
Or
What
you
does
can
that mean?
access it.
Yes, you can be able to access it. Meaning, if you have an emergency, is it education and or health that you need to account for, you can be able to make drawings, and your fund is still compounding. Why? Earnings are actually realized every day and compounded. Compounding meaning you are actually getting earnings from, leave alone the principal, but also earnings from the returns that you're actually getting. Secondly, would also now then advise such a person, let's look at you would also wish to have these funds have a run of another 3-5 years. So basically we have something called an exchange traded fund. Now this exchange traded fund is basically, and I alluded to it, is just a basket of listed stocks and bonds. So what basically happens is we'll be able to put a bit of that fund in that so that it can also be able to grow. Remember,
Right.
I mentioned earlier on, last year we were able to post about 25% returns on that counter. And lastly, we're also alive to the very fact that on account of what you're calling volatility in the market, we see nothing wrong with also putting something called fixed income. Now through Ndovu, we are able to give visibility of government bonds. The thing about government bonds is that it gives you something called a return every 6 months, which we call it the coupon. So you'll be able now to have a series of payments. Now what we've done in Ndovu is that we are able to create for you a bond ladder. What a bond ladder basically means is that we can give you 6 different offerings. In those very 6 different offerings, you will be able to get passive income on a month-on-month basis. Remember, the bond is paying you twice annually. So we can be able to search within the secondary market and get you various ones, so that at any point in time, you as an athlete, you'll be able to have monthly returns, and that is not all. You will be able to have funds meeting your emergency expenses, and most importantly, you'll be able to grow your wealth through ETF. Back to you.
Wow, really nice right there. Remember, we are in studio here with Wilson Nderitu, a financial and wealth advisor at Ndovu Wealth Limited. Queen Nikki is here. Joe Saina is here. Queen Nikki.
I have a question though. We've seen all these. You've told us about how you're able to help and everything. But now the connection between these athletes and financial advisors. Because let's say right now we can say there are a lot of things lacking in terms of accessibility to athletes, and it's not only in finance, even with PR, even with marketing. Like, unless an athlete is a level of an Eliud Kipchoge or a Faith Kipyegon, where you have international people managing your social media, your PR, and I'm sure those international people are teaching you how to manage your money and everything. Now there's the the up and coming person who still is here. I still haven't gotten the endorsements or the brands to allow me to get like international in terms of a management team. What do you think needs to be done to improve that connection between these athletes of different various, like from Harambee Stars to everyone else
NBA,
across
NBA, but basketball in
everyone in Kenya who's
Volleyball,
recently we've seen what has happened in rugby in terms of Joe's team Harlequins letting go of people. How are you guys like merging to talk to these people? Like, what's the plan?
So thank you so much, Nicolette, for that question. Now, similar to the way we have what you're calling health and nutrition advisor, we also have a fitness advisor. I believe we are at a point of transition in Kenya whereby we should also be able to, and I'm glad again we're having this conversation today morning, where we should be able to have and front these discussions. I know socially we get to talk about Mr. X had aggregated earnings and today he's perhaps now
he has
nothing to his name. He's actually soliciting people to be able to again bankroll him.
Right.
So the thing is, even from an early age, for us we believe in inclusivity. Again, as Ndovu, we're a big proponent on the very fact that the product is not exclusively for a certain niche.
Okay.
You'll be surprised. With as little as 500 shillings, you can be able to get a product. So basically what we've done is that we've reduced barriers of entry. So back to your question. So the thing that we need to start doing is to have these conversations amplified and spoken about even in different forums. I'm glad today you're doing this. We should even be able to again have such narratives even at least at the national level, whereby now as we're looking at our athletes, we're looking at our soccer players, rugby players, during at the point in time that they're starting out their career, nothing wrong with having this conversation whereby we're saying, all right, Mr. X, you have another 10 years of active athleticism, soccer player, you name it. Why don't you start by thinking about post again your career?
Your career.
Did you have perhaps another backup career? Often than not, that doesn't seem to pan out. So basically because your best life is actually on the game. So such conversations would go a long way with regards to now discussing, talking about keeping funds aside, investing, and we have no qualms. Definitely there are various forms of investments from real estate. Again, what we do in Ndovu is we complement other traditional forms of investments.
Right.
So we have ETFs, we have stocks, whereby from the comfort of your home, you can be able to own an Apple share with as little as 1,000. I mean, this is some of the conversation that we believe should be able to be out there, things that will be able to put you in terms of ahead with regards to managing your finances. And the long game here becomes that as you start small, aggregate your gains, appreciate your winnings, you'll be able to appreciate it as you delve into your career. At the tail end of your career, you will be able to hedge you at point of retirement and work it out moving forward.
Okay, so let me give you an example, yeah?
Please do.
So, I'm Joe Saina. I play for Madara United, for example.
Okay.
I'm on a 3-year contract, and it's 60 Gs per month, or 70,000 shillings per month. That's
Correct.
my house, maybe I pay my rent for about 15,000 shillings. All the expenses occurred and everything, I use maybe about 40,000. All the expenses. So I have 30,000 per month, whereby there's a fight between savings and investment. Immediately nimekupatia your profile.
Okay.
Advise me.
All right. Thank you so much, Joe, once again. So, like sports, investments also require some level of discipline so that you can be able to follow through in the long run. So what we at Ndovu do, we are big proponents of consistently starting small and aggregating your gains as you move along. So you put a very good narrative
there,
whereby you're saying, so at the end of the day, you have at least 20,000 as disposable income.
Correct.
That is more than adequate. Now, what we've done is that we are able to, again, I underline this, give you free advisory services. By downloading the app and or calling one of our help numbers, you'll be able to be guided. Now, back to your question. So what basically happens is we'll sit you down, will understand now, Joe, what is your objective,
To
both in
have
terms
more
of your
money after I retire, and to have businesses that can sustain me before, obviously, I leave this earth.
beautiful. So we'll be able to look at both in terms of your short term, mid term, and long term. Secondly, we'll also want to appreciate and understand what is your perception of risk. Do you call yourself a high risk taker? Do you call yourself averse in terms of risk, or you're in between? You're a balanced investor.
I'm a balanced risk taker.
Beautiful. Now, with these two proponents, we're able now to do something called portfolio creation. Big words, big jargons, but basically it means looking at what we have, where Joe intends to go, and the risk that he seems he's bound to assume.
Correct.
So basically what has happened is we're able to create a matrix. Remember, we have volumes, quite a number of products, asset classes, let's call them, within the platform. We'll be able to carefully choose a portfolio that best suits Joe. So, on the top of my head, this is the way I would look at it.
Yes.
Basic entry level money market fund. We always say this at the point in time that you do not seem to understand much in terms of investment,
Yes,
at
yes,
the very
yes.
least.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I say that is that the money market fund is an amplified saving. And let me get to that. What has basically happened is we have banks. No qualms about banks.
Yes.
On average, banks give returns on savings at about 3%. Now, within Dove, we have a money market fund that is giving about 13%. Now,
13%.
currently at about 13%. Now, this is the thing. We call something called a bank trap. I remember a minute ago you shared something called inflation.
Yes.
So, inflation is basically the cost, the purchasing power.
Yes.
So, the inflation eats away your purchasing power. It erodes your purchasing power. So, you can imagine, within Dove, we always advocate any returns should supersede at the very least inflation. So when your bank is giving you, or let me call it any financial institution is giving you 3%, what are they basically doing? If inflation is at about 7%, you are actually losing your money by 4%. So at the very least, the rule of the thumb, you should always at the very least have returns that supersede inflation. So we're talking at 13%. So the good thing about the money market fund, it compounds and you can access it easily. Then let's move to the next step.
So with these 20 G's of mine,
Correct.
so first thing what I suggest here, we try money market. We
Correct.
put some amount of it.
Absolutely.
How much, for example?
Now, the interesting thing about the money market fund is that with a minimum of 500 Kenya shillings and the multiples of the same, you can start and you can invest daily.
Wow.
In the depth of the night, early morning, any point in time. Remember, it is a platform that is accessible. You can download the app, you can use the web version, and you can be able to invest at any point in time.
Okay.
We have both payment channels, both M-Pesa and also via the bank. Soon we will be aggregating other payment avenues just as well. So the thing is, you can be able to grow your money market fund progressively. Remember, you're doing on a month-on-month basis. Remember, I started out by saying we start with a lot of discipline so that you can be able to realize gains. Now, let's move to the next asset class. We also have something called government bonds. Remember, we mentioned the government bonds also, minimum being 50,000. Remember, as you're doing this 20, progressively you'll be able to get a bond and start on it. Then, as you're continuing, we have something beautiful. I remember off air you mentioned gold. We have a beautiful product by the name of a commodity. Now, the good thing about gold is the very fact that one, it is halal. Secondly, during times of uncertainty, often than not, commodities stand the test of time.
Yeah.
So with as little as 5,000, you can be able to buy a commodity. Now, the good thing about the commodity, it has been on a run.
Okay.
Currently, it's been on a run. And I'll give you reasons. Often, whenever there is policy shifts, like Fed tax cuts and or inflation in the US, often than not, people tend to galvanize towards commodities.
Yeah.
So we have oil, silver, gold, copper, you name them. So we will be able to choose. So for Joe's case, we'll go for gold and or silver at 5,000. Remember, these ones have been doing very, very well. Then later on, we'll be able to get to equities. Basic, beautiful equities, like one we call the technology, the techie. You and I believe we'll be with technology with us today, another 10 years, 15 years. So definitely you're just subscribing to it. So the good thing about this ETF, exchange traded funds, is the very fact that by buying one ETF, it gives you accessibility to a raft of so many technology firms. So basically, by buying one ETF for 5,000, you're basically buying a bit of Apple, a bit of Nvidia, a bit. And the good thing about it is that it's already well diversified, such that if in the event one stock dips, the other 50 plus are able to net off that effect. So it gives you a very beautiful portfolio. And lastly, fractional stocks, which goes for 1,000 Kenya shillings. So from the comfort of your home, you can be able to own an Nvidia share, you can be able to own Plantier, you can be able to own Apple, you name them.
So with 16,000 shillings, because I've been calculating in my mind.
Beautiful.
So 500 bob money markets, 5,000 bob ETF.
Correct.
Another 5,000 bob goes to, you had mentioned
commodity gold.
Commodity gold.
Correct.
So we are at and then the last one you mentioned another one.
Stock. Which is minimum of 1,000 shillings.
So with 16 Gs,
correct,
I have all those future investments, and that will grow in terms of interest.
Yes.
Nikiendelea kutrade nazo, nikiendelea wow.
And the interesting bit is that we have a dashboard. So what basically happens, unlike for perhaps what we basically have been seeing within the Kenyan front, you bring in your money on a quarterly basis. I'll be telling you how you've been performing. Now we've rewritten the rules. So basically what happens on a day-to-day basis, you are able to see how your respective combination has been performing. So basically you're not lost in the very fact that you can actually be able to appreciate and you're growing with your investment. So that now that even in itself gives you an impotence to have the enthusiasm to continue watching. You have perhaps maybe some prize winnings that came through, like again you had mentioned the case of Harambee Stars. You already know I started small. I've seen the gains that this has been able to bring to myself. So at the point in time that I have any funds, I'm able to apportion again with regards to that portfolio.
I think my question would be now, as athletes, we say, not everyone believes in buying tech or like investing online. Maybe I've made my 5 million from whichever marathon I've run, nataka shamba. You get, are you able to advise someone then, should you put all this money kwa hiyo shamba or should you divide these winnings?
Beautiful. Now, the thing is, like I started out, we have various asset classes.
Yeah.
And the best way, again, in terms of investment, is spreading out your investments to different classes. So definitely we have no qualms about having ownership of a parcel of land. At the end of the day, nothing wrong, again, putting a roof on top of your family.
Correct.
So what basically happens is we can be able to walk the journey. So maybe that 5 million perhaps could be able to buy you out that parcel of land. Why then don't you just apportion it? Put half of it on the parcel of land. Is that okay? Get into an aggressive investment strategy whereby you'll be able to grow your wealth progressively. And from the returns of what you're proposing within Ndovu, you can be able to settle off so that as you're walking the journey, you're still buying your parcel of land, because within the Ndovu platform, we have something called a goal section whereby you're able now to map out what are your objectives.
Right.
Is it for education? Is it for retirement? Is it for a parcel of land? So we are basically accelerating you as a client to be able to meet your goal.
Now, to add on to that question, do you feel like the federations, the respective sports federations, from athletics to football, everything, do you think the federations need to, can the federations be the connection between financial advisors to their athletes, or do you feel like the federations need to do more in securing the athletes' financial life, let's say?
Certainly. A lot needs to be done, and like I'd mentioned earlier, it starts with beautiful conversations as we're having today.
Correct.
So in terms of, again, the policy shapers and makers, we should be able to see, again, the sports ministry, perhaps even just reaching out.
Yeah.
Again, having what you're calling, again, freely Ndovu gives something called financial wellness clinics, whereby we can be able to come to Sport FM, have an open conversation. You see, all right, this is what we're offering. So basically, as an olive branch, or even just reaching out, we would also be keen, even again, just to have an opportunity to have a discourse, engage athletes, discuss, talk about their plights, about their fears, and these conversations, again, one conversion at a time, will be able to spread again the word, and we'll be able to see remarkable, again, decent retirement of our athletes who continue to fly our flag very high, give a lot of pride to we as citizenry. It would also be good to see them decent even at the tail end of their successful careers.
Yeah, because we've seen a lot of athletes struggle once the game stops. Unaona someone, like, we've watched you for years and we've seen you don't have anything to your name now that you may retire, despite the fact that we've been seeing you winning all these millions and taking pictures with checks. Yeah.
Oof, there you go. Wilson Nderitu, a financial advisor and wealth advisor at the same time at Ndovu Wealth. Thank you so much for coming through. And if an athlete is out there right now and he's like, how can I get in contact with not only Wilson but also Ndovu Wealth Limited? How can they access you? Because that information is really nice. You've broken down to me how 20 G's can be the start of my future investments. So how do they get to you and they're out there listening to us?
Right. Thank you so much, Joe. So, Ndovu, you can be able to get us through our website, www.ndovu.co. You opening it? Excuse me for that. All right. .co. A moment.
No worries. You know, when you cough this early in the morning and we're talking about cash, someone is blessing you with money. Another 1,000 imeingia. The more you cough, the more 1,000 imeingia.
Beautiful. So we also can be accessed through our customer care number.
Right.
We have a series of numbers, among them 0715 666 661.
Right.
We also can be seen on the socials.
Yes. Your handle on each one of them?
Okay, at Ndovu. I know.
At Ndovu.
Yes, you'll be able to see on IG,
yes.
on Twitter, you name them.
Yes.
Hey, a lot of cash coming through.
Yeah, bro, you have 3 G's right now in your pocket.
Beautiful. So my parting shot should be this.
Yeah.
So as similar to sports, I advocate for one, paying yourself first. Put away something small before you spend. We advocate a rule of thumb of about 20 to 30% of your income. Secondly, and most important, invest early and diversify.
Right.
Build a strong defense and offense. Like I mentioned, you can always start out with a money market fund for the short term and emergency. Add an ETF and government bonds and fractional stocks to protect your wealth in the long term. And thirdly, and most important, get a coach.
Get a coach.
You don't have to figure it all at once on your own. We at Ndovu are ready and willing to walk this journey together.
Willing
Thank you so much.
and able to walk this journey together. Thank you so much, Wilson, for that. Remember, Wilson Nderitu, a financial and wealth advisor at Ndovu Wealth Limited. Thank you so much. Trust me, I'll talk to you later on about that.